Breaking news, President Trump's name has officially been removed from the Kennedy Center, according to court documents. Many D.C. residents MS Now spoke with were offended President Trump would desecrate a living memorial to President John F. Kennedy. And joining me now is Jack Schlossberg, President Kennedy's grandson. Jack is a Democratic candidate for the House, seeking to represent New York's 12th congressional district. And I welcome you, Jack, and I'm just curious on this momentous day, what's your reaction to what all developed?
I think it shows that President Trump cannot rewrite history. He did desecrate what is a living memorial to President Kennedy, my grandfather, who believed that the arts were our best defense against authoritarian governments around the world, and that this country stands for free expression, and he celebrated artists. And President Trump put his name on top of a living memorial and violated the law, as he is doing in so many other ways. So I'm just really grateful to the people who filed this lawsuit, to the representative in the House, Joyce Beatty, who has led this fight, and the people who made sure that, you know, the JFK Center for the Performing Arts name was restored.
When you first heard that President Trump was planning on renaming the center and watched his name supersede that of your grandfather, I mean, what was your reaction? Was it anger? Was it disbelief? Was it like, what?
President Kennedy has a famous quote where he said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors and the men it remembers." And when I saw what President Trump was doing by, trying to desecrate a living memorial, as I said before, it's something that we should all take personally, because President Kennedy represented all the work of the generation of Americans who sacrificed for all of us here today, for the democracy we live in, the greatest generation that defeated communism and fascism across the world and then came home and sent a man to the moon. That's what JFK represents. And President Trump, his agenda stands in opposition to all of that. And this is just an example of, we don't have to accept defeat here. Trump is not inevitable or all-powerful. We are a nation of laws, and we have to fight him and make sure that he doesn't just continue to get away with violating the law over and over again.
Jack, you told CBS that you don't admire President Trump. However, you, quote, deeply, deeply respect and recognize his genius in the way that he programs all of what we talk about every day. So explain what you mean, and is that something that you pick up, that you try to emulate somewhat in your campaign, in your own way, not the Trumpian way?
Look, here we are today talking about him again. And yeah. President Trump, what he has done to this country is, I have trouble even finding the words. We're in a three-part crisis here. The cost of living crisis here is punishing New Yorkers. The corruption crisis, he's made $4 billion. He's carving up our federal government and handing it out to big business. And he's violating the law every single day. I think Democrats have to recognize that the person holding all the power in our government is not playing by anybody else's rules. And so I in no way want to emulate any of what he represents, but I recognize that he lives rent-free in everybody around the world's head, and he does it. It's no accident. He has a unique skill, and the Democratic Party needs to wake up, elect a new generation who understands the game that he's playing, can play it ourselves and not stoop lower, but use our creativity, our wit, and challenge the status quo, because the leaders in the Democratic Party so far, I mean, we have not come up with a real answer to how to stop this guy. Today is a great example of the rule of law being restored and fighting back and winning, but we've got a long road ahead.
You've been out at an event today. I know it is the first day of early voting in New York, and you've been really busy running around with all that. What are you hearing from voters?
Today is the first day of early voting in one of the most important primaries in the entire country. I'm hearing from voters that this is our last chance to stop Trump. The cost of living crisis in New York is something I hear from people every single day. Rent is at an all-time high in Manhattan. I've got a plan to help lower that immediately by making rent tax deductible. I'm hearing from people who just want government officials who are present in their communities and take the public trust seriously and aren't selling out to big business. And, I've earned the nickname No PAC Jack in this campaign, and a lot of respect for it, because I don't have a super PAC, no corporate PAC money. People all across the country are rejecting special interest money that has led to an economy that does not work for working families.
Are you looking for an endorsement potentially from Mayor Mamdani? Would that help your race? Do you think your constituents would approve of that?
Mayor Mamdani has done a fantastic job. I'm proud to have endorsed him, and the only candidate in the race who endorsed him before his primary and voted for him twice. I think he should do whatever he thinks is best. I'm not about to give the mayor. I'm not here to play pundit. But if elected, would want to work very, very closely with Mayor Mamdani, who I have a lot of respect for.
So look, it's a competitive race. Why is it that you think people haven't yet decided for whom they are going to vote in the New York 12 district?
Look, New Yorkers are really smart people, and they take their time to make an informed decision. And I think that we're really happy about that because there's a lot of contrast between our campaign and the others. The fact is, and not a lot of people really fully appreciate the situation, but my two primary opponents, Michael Lasher and Alex Flores, are funded by Republican ultra wealthy mega donor billionaires who are actually funding MAGA Republicans across the country. And so Democratic, this race has been flooded with money, and a lot of people get put off by that, but they're waking up to the fact that a grassroots political movement like we've started is exactly what the city needs.
Last question, Jack. Given the unpopularity of Donald Trump, I mean, he's never had lower ratings. They are sinking by the week, it seems. To what extent do you balance your campaign with talking about what you want to bring to New York 12 and just opposing Donald Trump? I mean, where's the winning formula?
Well, so this is a central theme of my campaign. The Democratic Party's got to get its confidence back. We can do two things at once. We do not have to choose. We have no choice but to hold Trump accountable for his crimes and his cabinet officials and violation of the law, prosecute and investigate. We need to impeach and remove him. And that doesn't mean we can't also focus on an economy that works for everybody and reforming our tax code and banning congressional stock trading. We got to be able to do more than one thing at a time, walk and chew gum. And I think we need a new generation that has the energy, confidence, and drive to really make that happen.
It is something you're certainly embodying. I want to thank you very much, Jack Schlossberg. Come see us again. We're going to be watching this race real closely.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Okay.
Thank you.